there's one that doesn't.
It's not very bright.
You know, what's, what?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
that's the one.
Top.
Yeah. All right.
Let me into.
Oh, you win. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Thank you. Here's a little actually.
Mhm. All right, I guess we're ready to begin. So I'd like to call to order the public hearing, which precedes the legal meeting. The matter under consideration is passing a local law that would change the tax exemption range of income eligible for varying degrees of tax exemption for senior citizens and disabled persons. Is there anyone who would like to comment on this proposal? Right here. Really quick public hearing because I'm not seeing anybody. If not, then close the public hearing and move on to the regular agenda. There are a couple of additions. Three of them actually. I think I'd like to, if you're willing, in light of Chief's schedule, we could consider the first two items in conjunction with 7.2, the highway superintendent support report.
Okay.
And then the other one could go to the end.
What's the other one?
Authorizing signing a contract for CDBG grant administration. Could add it at the last minute, because I started doing it early and got distracted.
Are we going to deal with the local law today?
Yes.
Okay, then that's not on the agenda.
Did I not put it on? Yes, it is. It's
I think it's under business.
That's 10.4.
Oh, yeah.
Scratch 10.2. That's looking.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first meeting in March. That's
Okay.
even-
No, I got it wrong, sorry. So take that one off. Anything else?
I wanted to mention the natural resource inventory and see if we could dig that out, where, just do it because of the door.
Leslie, is your microphone on?
Oh, sorry.
Excellent.
Just, I wanted to add somewhere a 2-minute discussion on the natural resource inventory that was done in
We've done a lot of that.
2019.
Is it?
I don't know where you want to throw that or,
Well, sure, yeah, yeah.
okay.
And 10.8, maybe that's premature.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take that off then.
Yeah.
So we'll add NRI. Okay, anything else?
I mean, maybe move the
Something else.
water district up since we have somebody from it here or not.
You want to do that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking other thoughts.
Well, it's a thought, because it could take a while.
Instead of waiting till the end,
Yeah.
may as well move it out. Are we expecting anybody else?
Can I move it up to
Yeah,
beginning? Well,
Yeah.
After Keith.
yeah. 10.05.
One.
Do we have 9.4, the fire district vouchers? It's not on my early agenda.
Right. It was the last minute addition.
Yeah,
It's only, it's
Okay.
only a,
I got it. I just wanted to not,
okay, yeah,
I know what it is.
yeah, all right. It's interesting, because it's not in the one I printed either.
No, I know.
It's
See,
last
yeah,
minute.
not on my printed one either.
What's
What
that?
number, the fire district? 9.4. 9.4 on the agenda.
Yeah, 9.4.
Where's 9.3?
9.3
That's
is
water
a water
district.
fund voucher.
You know, I printed this late and it still didn't come on it.
I got 9.3 on mine. I printed it today, this morning. I have a 9.3. What time did you print yours?
There were some last minute changes.
Yeah, I just happened to catch them.
don't know why it wasn't there at 5 o'clock. It makes me wonder whether it's there now.
Yeah, it was there at 5 o'clock.
I printed way earlier.
Yeah, I did too, and then I saw the change.
Yeah.
Well, maybe,
It was there.
yes, it's because I have the last one. Attendance, did this one? Yeah, it's there. All of them there. Yeah. Okay. Anything else, or we good to launch?
I don't have anything else. Right
Okay.
now. If I did, I'd forgotten.
All right, privilege of the floor. Is there anyone who would like to address the board on any topic? Rhonda?
Okay, so this morning I went in to look at the agenda and I noticed that you were doing 10.1, the review and reaffirmation of policies and procedures. But the policies and procedures was just a list, so it wasn't really anything that I could read. And so I thought, well, I'll go into the homepage of the website and look for the policies and procedures, and I clicked on the documents tab, and there wasn't anything visible dealing with policies and procedures. So I went to the search button and put in policies, and it didn't bring anything up, and I didn't have the time at the time to deal with it. So about 4 o'clock this afternoon, I went back and spent about 15 minutes looking for policies and procedures, and under documents, when at the upper tab, I clicked on documents and you get a box, and then you have to go down within the box and you'll come up with policies and procedures, and then you get each one of those policies and procedures. And of course, by that time, I didn't have enough time to read all of those policies and procedures. And I did look at the flag one, which said it was a proposed policy and procedure, even though it had been approved in 2020. So the issue is that this is getting to be an enormous website, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. And so my concern is that people are going to get frustrated when they do a search, and I would like to make sure that when I go to that website and I put policies up in the search tab, that it brings up policies and procedures. So maybe this will change when we change the website, but I'm just saying that right now it's getting to be big and it's getting hard to find things quickly. And so the search tab is becoming more and more important. So that's all I have to say. I'm not blaming anybody for this or anything. I'm just saying that it would have been nice if I could have gotten in there and found the documents a little bit quicker. Thank you.
Good point. Working on it. Ted?
Sure, thank you. Oddly enough, I'm sort of in the same ballpark of comment as Rhonda. I also saw that affirmation of policies, and I saw it was a list. And eventually I did track it down on the website. I realize how hard it is to produce a link for everything. For what it's worth, there are 2 policy proposals also listed on the agenda. And to be honest, those are the ones I really would have liked to see a document for. At least one of them, apparently a document was supposed to be prepared, and the other one I assume there is. And I hope that you'll be able to you do have documents and you can get them online and tell us to reload the agenda so that we can see them, and then reopen comments so we can make comments on policy proposals that are being raised. Thanks.
They were deleted from the agenda.
Yeah,
Oh.
they were, it turned out they weren't ready, so that's why they didn't get, into the folder.
Excuse me. My attention was, I was out there searching for them online. So I wasn't listening to the words. Thank you.
Anything else to,
I'm sure I could think of something, but no, nothing I had it planned.
want to make sure we cover the bases. Anybody else? Just the board? If not, yep. Whip.
Yeah.
Is it on?
I believe so,
Yes.
yeah. I was just going back through minutes and looking at, talking about the wish list for ARPA money.
Mhm.
And you and I have met and talked about ADA ramp,
Mhm.
the town hall, talked about people, about security upgrades. I know there needs to be, can someone please tell me what the meeting's called for the task force workplace?
Workplace violence prevention,
Oh,
yeah, workplace violence
I didn't understand.
committee, I guess it's called, right?
Oh, committee, yeah, sorry, I didn't understand what you asked.
So yeah,
It's science convention. on the actual-
that'll be the security upgrades for the town hall.
Right.
Looking into that.
Could the speaker step forward so we can see him on the video?
Yeah, 'cause
I think it's the way you're,
Another 3 feet.
no, where
He wants
the
to see
camera
oh,
is oriented, you can't see your screen.
And acoustic issues in town hall, I've been looking into, you know, sound dampening panels. I'm gonna talk to an acoustic engineer. I've heard that someone that works here turned me on to. And with that, maybe we should talk about upgrading the PA system, so it's,
so you mean so we could hear?
so everyone can
Oh,
hear.
wouldn't that be nice?
And so it sounds nicer to them and everyone here. One of the things was adding restrooms at the park. And I haven't really, I've talked to Amanda a little bit because I'm putting in a boardwalk in late March or April, because we have a limited time on the grant. But I know, Ted, that, you're the community park director? And I didn't know if there was anything that the park was looking to do as an upgrade.
Wow.
Ted?
He wasn't paying attention.
I was actually, if you're asking me, I think you should bring this up at a park meeting.
When's the next park meeting?
I don't know the date, but frankly, the town board is not a venue to discuss park business.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
The grant money came through the town.
Is there any correspondence, Ryan?
No, I don't have any correspondence.
Any announcements?
I have none.
Announcements?
Nope.
Actually, I do have one that I forgot to mention last month. 2 months ago, I was to check on the time frame for giving notice for a town board member attending the meeting by Zoom. And the official time frame is 72 hours. I forgot to mention last week. I'm sorry. But I will follow up again because I recall that there was some things about emergency things. So I want to double check, but the default one is 72 hours.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't help with.
That's not for illnesses. That's really for somebody who's going to be out of town.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
72 hours before the meeting?
Yeah.
Meaning in that 72 hours?
No,
before the
72 hours before.
Before the
Yeah.
meeting.
Yes.
Before the 72 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means you can't use it for things like, storm absences.
Well, that's,
Illness.
then you cancel, then those are things that,
Well,
but
yeah.
illnesses is an issue that I will again reconfirm for emergency things. There was some comment that she made about that, and I didn't recall the details of it, so I will call again.
What did you call
AOT,
one of the attorneys.
the attorneys, yes.
So we're doing it, I'm going away from the 5th of March to the 12th of March. Is there a meeting in that period?
Yeah.
Yep.
I won't be here.
Well,
Can
the
Zoom-
notice is just that if you want to attend by Zoom, that's when we need the notice.
Oh, you only want to do it if we're doing, it. Okay.
That's the only
So you
reason
can-
for the
Can
notice.
you attend by
But
Zoom?
You said that you can participate next Zoom.
Anyway,
Yeah.
on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm anywhere near a town.
Yep.
Yeah, on a computer.
Right, we'll see.
Yeah, if you just tell us that you're going to be participating from remotely, it's now possible to participate remotely without having to say where you're going to be or having the public attend with you, which was the law before. But we have to have a quorum of the membership present physically.
Town meeting.
So you don't count towards quorum, you get to vote if you give us advance notice.
Oh.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's-
it is.
it's light up.
I did the same thing.
But I think it is.
No, it works. It just doesn't look like it works.
So because that week, who knows? If I don't have internet when I get there, I can't tell you beforehand, so at least.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
What you could do is tell us that you
Yeah.
intend to participate remotely
Yeah.
if you can, and that's notice.
Okay, what he said.
So,
If I can, I intend,
yes, so we now know that Paul will be participating if he can.
verbally is
You'll have
enough,
to
right?
remember.
Yeah.
Maybe Mariah will put it in the notes.
Yeah. Oh, Laura's here. No. Okay. Dan's not here. Right?
Nope.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
There wasn't anything that said wait.
Yeah. But Keith is, isn't he? Where is he? He said he was gonna
Up there
be
on
here.
the top.
I'm here.
There you are, yeah. Yeah, thanks, Keith. So, you can kind of tell us what's going on, but also, we can include in that the discussion about the loader and the auction.
Okay. So as most of you probably know, we're up for our loader renewal, whether or not we want to renew. If we want to purchase a new loader, that is, and possibly sell our old one. We've got a good trade-in value of $185,000 on our old one. We would like to place it in an auction just to see how it does. Used equipment has come down considerably in the last year. Throw it out there, see what it does, and if we don't have to accept it, if it does less than what the trade-in is, and we don't have to sell it regardless of anything. But it wouldn't hurt to throw it out there and see if we might be able to possibly get a new loader for next to nothing. So that's one thing is we'd like to put the loader in an auction, but we'd also like to, if we do go with this new loader, we're looking for $18,000 towards the new loader, with the trade-in from the old one. I think we're right about the same place we were last year with this. We look at the 18,000 where if we kept another year warranty, which would be smart to keep 2 years warranty on a new machine, we'd have to add anyway an additional, a minimum of $3,500 right now to carry that warranty on. So that's another expense we would have to carry on our old loader. And we're up for, we'd have to do our our first service maintenance is usually around, I want to say it's about $1,200 or something. So those two fees, you're looking at, $4,500 ish. That being said, we're really, you know, we're looking for $14,000 towards the new loader, even though the price tag says 18,000. We wouldn't have to absorb those costs in the old loader. The extra warranty, we wouldn't have to absorb that. We wouldn't have to absorb the service, the first service on it. We've already spoke with Alta, and we let them know that we're not going to be doing the first service on it if we go this route. That being said, the loader program, we keep on looking at it. This year we told 3 vendors that no, we weren't buying a loader. We told them flat out. Alta did come back with a $5,000 reduction, which I thought was, I was really on a teeter-totter with it, but the $5,000 really made a big difference. So that pushed me back into, I think it is a pretty good deal for this time. If we could see like $10,000 to $15,000 a year in depreciation in that machine, that's probably fair. But when you're talking, you know, $25,000 for a new machine every year, it's just getting too rich. It's just digging into the taxpayers' pockets, and we're trying not to do that. But this is it's our key piece of equipment, mind you. This is our most important piece of equipment that we have. And if we don't have that loader, we're sitting ducks. So it's important that we keep a really good loader. And I think we're on the right page with where we're at now. Next year, I want to revisit it every year, because the last couple of years, with heavy equipment, there's such a huge market in this. And I see the prices on used equipment or the newer stuff, they're getting caught up with the stuff that they're building. So this could go 2 different ways. Equipment's either going to be available, and they're going to have so much of it on their lap, they're going to have to mark it down to get rid of it next year. Or it could be, you know, there's not still enough to fill the void, so they have to keep it marked up. I can guarantee it's not going to get cheaper, but you know, it just has to be watched closely where we're not getting into that, where you're spending more every year than what the thing is depreciating. 7 years is a great time to sell a piece of equipment. They hold their value up. They depreciate, I want to say 25–30% in the first 7 years or something. Those are good numbers to come back and recoup that money. Then we'd probably be around 2,400 hours on the machine, which you're still talking a very, very, very valuable machine after 7 years. So that's where my head's kind of, you know, maybe in the future, if the price for this loader program keeps getting higher and higher and higher, I think maybe see what happens in 7 years with one. You just want to make sure in that first couple of years, you got a really, really, really good stout machine. No issues with it. Volvo's a key machine, a very good machine. Caterpillar's a great machine. Some of these machines, if you feel them out for the first couple of years and they do really, really well, you're very unlikely to have serious issues with them where it might exceed a $5,000 repair or something. And when I say $5,000 repair, that's a light repair on one of these machines.
Right.
So it's, yeah. And another thing is always having a backup plan. And I would not ever look at doing this, but with a backup plan in place, if we ever had to, the other thing is yes, we do have a backhoe or something there with a loader on it that in a storm or whatever, we could get our trucks loaded, no problem. So it's not something that, you know, it's when you're moving these ideas around, I'm definitely not putting anything in jeopardy by I have plan B always in place. So, that being said, that's pretty much where we're at with it. If anybody's got any questions or.
Yeah, asked it.
Paul does, yeah, very good.
What's your time frame? So when do we need to vote on this?
Now.
Tonight.
Tonight?
Now, yeah, this is,
Okay.
this is,
Good.
On the agenda.
yeah.
There's two things on. One is to
Right.
buy the loader, and the other one is to allow for the auction, go to see if they can get more for the old one than the trade-in for it.
I move the resolution to allow the highway superintendent to send the 2023 Volvo loader to auction.
Second that. Let's talk about it.
A usual appreciation for how hard you all work to try and get the best for the best deal.
Yeah, so if we send it to auction, we would not, we've already been offered the 185,000 from Alta, and we would accept that trade-in. That's a very good trade-in for where we're at. But we definitely wouldn't take a dime less from auction if it did less. It would, there's nothing lost for us anyways if we didn't sell it at auction. It's just to see if we bring more, that's it. So.
Mariah, the vote.
Okay, Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gannon.
Yes.
Excellent.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
I move the resolution to allow the highway superintendent to enter into an agreement with all the equipment for the contract of a new loader.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Further discussion, I should say.
And on
Yeah.
that, oops, sorry.
Whoop,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
and
I was gonna go straight to the vote.
Gotcha.
Oh, are you ready?
Yep.
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
yes,
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gannon.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay. Anything else you want to say about how things are going at the highway department, Keith?
Well, everything's going good. We've got a little bit of nice weather out there. As I was mentioning the other day, that doesn't always hold things back. The roads are thawing and freezing a lot, which when you have thawing and freezing, it's much better actually when the roads just stay frozen. So there's a lot of issues with that going on right now, but as far as the weather goes, we might be saving a little bit in our salt, I hope. We'll see how it goes, because my thoughts is the lakes are unfrozen up north. Lake Erie being the biggest one. Usually Lake Erie freezes over, I think, almost 100%, maybe not quite, but that's a big snowmaker. And when the temperatures get back cold again, it really, an inch of snow a day or just a dusting, those little tiny storms that make us get out there, that can be very, 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 very expensive for the town. To get out there and try to deal with that ice every morning. If we get into that, I'm hoping not. I don't want to sound negative. Positive thoughts, but we'll see what happens in March, but
Some of our biggest storms have been in March and even April.
March and April, yep. So we'll see what happens. Other than that, my barbecue's all ready to go.
It's feeling like March out there today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we have the clerk's report. We don't need to accept it, it's just submitted. The minutes. Okay, ready to act on them? Want to do them one by one or all together?
All three.
Okay,
I move the minutes be approved for December 2023, January 22nd, 2024, and February 5th, 2024.
Second. Any comments or changes needed, or are we good? Okay, Mariah?
Okay, Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
On to the warrant.
I'll move the general warrant for number 4 for vouchers 42 through 65 for $40,091.83.
Second.
Comment? Hearing none? Right?
I hate when that happens. Okay, Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll move the highway fund, abstract number 4, vouchers 20 through 29 for $19,070.84.
Second. Question? The vote?
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth.
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm hearing something. I don't know what it is. I move the West Danby Water District, abstract number 4, voucher number 2 for $50.
Second.
Controversial.
I wish they quit spending all that money.
I think we're good?
Ready? Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yeah. Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll move the Danby Fire District, abstract number 4, voucher 1 for $589,000.
Second.
I remember just having done this in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just once a year.
Oh, yeah, because you raise the taxes and you give them money, but. Any discussion? Okay,
Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
yes,
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. We'll get them out.
yeah. So now we move the water district typist, clerk typist position up to the next item, right?
Mhm.
And this is something that maybe it doesn't get solved tonight, but do we have a job description?
We did put something up on the website that was based on what Laura wrote up.
Oh, okay, so the announcement for the position, it's a job description.
As good as we got, because the clerk typist is just it's a kind of a catch-all. It doesn't really describe what the job
Well, the
entails.
clerk typist, I mean, did you read, was it the county description of the job?
That's why it's, you know, this is, well, maybe, let me let
Do
Laura.
we want to have something that's more tailored to actually what the person does at the
It was,
water
Laura,
district?
Laura did it and it was tailored.
It is totally, okay. Huh.
The,
Where's that? I didn't see it.
it's on the county thing, right? Well, let Laura speak to it.
Okay. This job is put up there as a clerk typist. A clerk typist job is one where, you, how do I want to really explain this? It is basically that. So as far as what this job really does, you're entering in meter readings, calculating the bill, you're using the software, printing out bills and sending them out. Okay, so, and then typing up reports that the operator comes up with, like for the annual report, and doing things like that. So that's why it's called a clerk typist. Also, I mean, if you were to put another description into it, not that that would be a bad thing, but I can tell you that it would put that job up into a position of a competitive class, where a person would have to take civil service tests and be able to, and have to, you'd have maybe people from all surrounding towns could be involved in your mix. But with a clerk typist, the clerk typist explanation, it's a part-time typist. It really is exactly what the person's doing. Okay. It is not a competitive class position for part-time. You can have that up there and have more of the ability to be able to select an individual. Perhaps you want to select an individual that lives in West Danby and is familiar with the neighborhoods, familiar with the whole scope of the village, of the township. Somebody who you might want to have somebody within that area, so that it's easier for the public to pay their bills, to go to someone's. It usually takes, I'm not sure where they're planning on having this. Usually the person has it in their home. They may have something else in mind at this point. But so a clerk typist really does explain what the job is, but it also gives you a little bit more freedom of selection, of getting people in the door and selecting them, based on, different types of criteria.
Okie doke.
So this is the same job classification that we use for the secretaries of the planning board, BCA.
I mean, which to me are different jobs than the clerk for the water district.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, so to me, the generic, I don't know, it may be just something we'd like to do eventually, is make sure that it's.
But we do want to make sure that it does not, that it stays where it is, that we don't non-competitive.
Oh, yeah.
That is a bigger
Yeah.
problem.
So I mean,
Well, that's why you might not want to use the county's job
Right.
description. So anyway,
well, we have to.
all right, it's something we can work on
Yeah,
maybe,
I mean, it has-
but it would be good to have, what does that person do?
right.
Specific, in that specific
Yeah,
department.
having a job description for that position makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
As it does for the
Have an
operator.
in-house job description. We could have a job description that we keep in-house,
Yeah.
the different functions.
Right, which is essentially what we did. We closed it.
You have a dancer behind you. Is she still dancing?
No.
Or your granddaughter.
She was dancing back there.
You're muted, Laura, so we're not hearing you.
Yeah, I think she's playing with some toys now. Oh yeah, she's got on her chef's hat. She's got a chef's hat on. She's cooking back there.
Okay, cool.
So I proceeded to advertise this because I thought it was important to see if there was other interest in the position. Just because the practice of filling the job without asking, putting some sort of public notice out that the position is there, doesn't give you an opportunity for somebody who might have an interest that you don't know about, to express an interest, and that has occasionally got us people for the boards and committees. And in this case, I was surprised to find that people applying. I didn't really expect it. And what the value of that is that we now know that there are several people who are potentially interested in case, you know, somebody for the future, right?
I have a question. Hey, Laura? Just nod your head.
Yes.
Can you just send that job description out to us on the email? On the town email?
Yeah, the job description that's there, like from the county, it's called a part-time typist. So that would be a very generic job description, but I can send to you what we posted up there and what the tasks are that person does. Sure, I can send something out to all of you.
That'd be great. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
I think that was already shared with us, wasn't it?
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
No, it was not.
Maybe I just didn't look hard.
Yeah.
Um,
It's been something that the water committee's been working on, is just to describe the position. We just developed essentially a job description. It's called the standard operating procedure for the operator, so that if they get injured or are away, somebody else can step into the position
Right.
and know what needs to be, how to do, what needs doing and how to do it.
Right.
And the same thing obtains here.
Well, I know that I had suggested that we, the town board needs to decide whether or not to interview people, and we got 4 applications.
Right.
I think, well, right off the bat, I feel like it's very important to have somebody, and this is why it's good to have a description of some sort, because maybe we don't all agree on it, but I think it's important to have somebody from West Danby be in that position, and preferably somebody in the water district. But that's my opinion. But in looking at the applications, I mean, I'm feeling like the person who I would want to interview or actually choose is somebody who's been actually training in that position for at least a year. So I don't know what other people.
I totally agree. And actually, I believe that Meryl is willing to tell us about the job if we want to ask her questions about what the job is.
Kind of awkward talking about somebody when they're sitting out there. I was interested in asking you to describe what you've been doing and what your connection with the water district, how long you've been there, and what have you done with the water district?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, because we'll take the other thing here too.
Because the West Danby Water District is,
Go ahead, Nancy.
because the West Danby Water District Board, all of us that live there, we all have cross-trained, we all have cross-worked, so we can step in for anybody. Not particularly Scott's job, but if something happened during the day, Scott's clear up in Weedsport like he was this week, I could at least go and meet, or Ben could go and meet Mintier. We all know who we're gonna call in case of emergency. We could at least meet them, show them the problem. We could get the ball rolling, so nothing's on hold. I could also very quickly, or Marge could very quickly. Marge is trying to not do anything. She'll feel good. She can't see her computer screen without her magnifier anymore.
Yeah.
I could very quickly type up a note to leave on someone's door. This is what's going on with your water, because but Sean could do the same thing. Our new assistant operator. Ben sometimes is home, he could do the same. We all have talked about what we do. We all have, and whoever's closest, because Sean, Scott, and I are in the fire department. We are on top of our generator. I just went through 3 weeks of trying to get a delivery for fuel. I check it every Monday. It is the mutual agreement between the water and the fire district that the chief is the only one who will call for a fill up, which is fine. Checks and balances, that's okay. I notice it's below a quarter of a tank. I report to the chief. The next Monday, we have not had a delivery. The next Monday, we have not had a delivery. And it was not him. He has been calling. He has been calling. It's trying to get the company that serves us to show up. But this is something that we're all on. We all work together to do it. When I have a billing problem or when I have a meter read that didn't work, I can call both or text. We do a lot of stuff texting. We're all on a group text together. I'm checking the generator. I am doing paperwork. I'm writing notes. I'm doing all the clerical. I took the software training. I have gone out with Scott and done the meter reading. If anything ever happened to Scott, and Sean had to be with him because it is a father and son team.
Right.
I at least know what to do. And this going forward will not be in someone's home. We have been trying for over a year to get a memorandum of understanding with the fire department so that it can be run out of the fire department.
How's that working?
It's not.
No, okay. I was gonna say, do you need a desk?
No.
Oh, damn.
Place to put it.
The other part of that was having all of our records in a locked and secured place and our maps being in a climate controlled place, which is what we would have at the station. And we have a locked room. Our town code person has already assigned us a house number for the pump house, so we may have our own secure locked mailbox to get our mail.
Wow. That's interesting.
So that means that the people in the town can come to that central location with payments, et cetera.
Yes, because whether anyone likes it or not, we have some people who've been in the water district a very long time and they still pay cash for their bill.
Yeah.
We have some that overpay, they round it up and they leave the cash. We have people who won't mail a check. They don't trust the post office. They hand deliver their payments. So we have to have a central, safe, lockable, secure. We're gonna have to have a mailbox and it's gonna have to be, I already have a way to have it lettered water, so they don't confuse it with the fire department, even though they won't be near each other, but we've already addressed that. And also that all the three of us who are in the fire department gives us free use of the station now to have all our meetings.
Right.
And we're working with the emergency plan, because we all have keys, we're already there. The generator runs the pump house. We can check that. If we need to have a place where people have to come pick up water, because the state says if you're gonna be out of water for more than 72 hours, we, the water district, have to provide you water. So we have to have a place they can pick that up. Where are we gonna use the station? Wow.
Very impressive. So,
There may be an issue with the box. We have a drop box here for the clerk. Because it's illegal to use a mailbox, an official mailbox, or other than mail, without postage. And have people put things in Marge's mailbox in the past?
Every quarter. So we are looking at the same mailbox the fire department has. Pull down on the top, they drop it in, it falls in the bottom is locked.
Oh,
You can't get in it.
so that's different.
It's yes. We're not just looking at a mailbox.
Right.
And
We're
also
looking
in
at
the
the same
post
thing that is on a post that the fire department has. Because we have people, when they run at the station, they'll leave their money there sometimes after. And people leave us notes too. Right?
I think that is the word mailbox the issue? Like if we say mailbox, some people think a mailbox means one thing and you're talking about a drop box and might be.
It's a dual.
It is.
Sounds like it's
Oh,
a dual.
so there's no mail.
But the two of the older people who do, we're gonna tell them it's a mailbox because they're in some for a drop box attached to the building and it is not.
Yeah.
So that just makes me ask the question, where does the mail, regular mail does the fire department have a mailbox? Like, I don't even know whether that fire department has a mailbox. I know we have two out front.
Our fire station has its own mailbox. out front,
Yeah.
markable, deliverable to. The water district mail all goes to March.
That's what,
Okay, right. So then that would end up like the bills or something from the vendors would go, eventually would come to the box you're talking about at the fire department, or could it be separate, like
No,
there's,
no, it's gonna be separate. We're not doing anything with, we're just getting a box, just like what the fire department has because of the locking and the
right,
safety secure issue.
that's what I was meaning, so that the,
There's some
the
separate-
mail, like the vendors, how do the vendors mail stuff to you is what I mean, is that the same box, or would they get? I mean, like box so-and-so is box number 50, like for
Would
when
go
you,
in the
vet
same
with the
box.
vendor, well, I think that was what,
Everything now goes to March.
yeah,
It's addressed to March. We're gonna have to spend postage and send a notice to everyone in the district of where it's going to be.
Yeah.
March is retired. We're gonna have to send to our vendors. This is now where things need to get sent.
right,
And it is the same number that our pump house is.
okay, yeah,
The post office will deliver to that same box.
They're going to deliver our mail in our box when they deliver to the box
Yeah.
in the same parking lot to the fire station.
Yeah, but it's the same box as it's basically serving dual functions,
Right.
like mailbox and
Right.
drop box. So, but if the post office mail carrier doesn't open the box, they just drop the mail in,
Right?
then it's probably not going to be an issue.
right,
not an
shouldn't be an issue, right?
We've already discussed it. It's not an issue. The board is comfortable with our decision.
great.
So,
Thank you.
And I'm gonna ask Keith
Do a lot.
where I can put it, because I wanna make sure we're not gonna get hit. So I.
He's right there.
Well, no, when it comes time, he needs to log in and tell me where's the best place to put it. So right away, because the priority is at the pump house and the station parking lot gets plowed. That's already on the line of things that we have to address next, is where to put it.
so I have a few questions.
Keith will be on it. Got nothing to do.
Yeah. Are we doing a Q&A?
Yeah.
Now, what do you see as the relationship between the clerk and the town board?
It has always been our belief, and it has always been, we remind each other all the time that the clerk, all of the paperwork goes to Laura, but the board as a whole has to be ready to come to a town board meeting and answer any questions or explain anything if asked. And that has always been what our understanding is, and we remind each other all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
If
people
you ask,
come-
we have to be able to come and answer.
People come when, there was a need for a new tank,
Right,
for
Right.
cleaning and
Right.
and all sorts of stuff.
But even if a random bill shows up and you don't understand it, then ask for somebody to come to a meeting.
Yeah.
Because we have been told, since I've been on the board for 9 years, I've been in the district for 21 years, since the beginning, we've been told that is what is expected.
it's nice to have a report like this. It's nice to have this because it is helpful for us to hear, from people who are doing it, what the job is. And you could put a little note in the newsletter.
Oh,
So that people,
she's not smiling.
I know.
I deny it, one more thing, on my plate.
Well, yeah, I'm appreciating that you're here telling us about this. It's very helpful.
And you could have had this at any time,
Yeah.
any of this, if you had sent a message anyway, hey, we want somebody to come up. We've always been under the impression that if you ask, we are to come. That's not gonna change.
Perfect. Yeah,
Well, it's not usually a we, that's the issue.
Huh?
The practice in the past, before you though, was that the operator was the one who reported to the board.
Yeah,
Even
usually,
though-
I mean, usually
even though the-
like Todd would come or.
Well, that more
Gene-
recently.
Gene Beavers would
If you
come.
need Scott for something, all we have to do is tell him
Yeah.
that you need to talk to
Yeah.
him.
that's what I heard Meryl say, is that she didn't say she or one person, she said the
Board
people
was
on.
responsible.
And I think it also needs to explain to all of you that even though Scott is not listed as a member of the Board of Water Commissioners, we do not make any decisions without his input. He is a part of our board. If you say you need him or someone from the board or both, we want someone, we will be here. That is, we know what is expected of us.
We're dealing with a different understanding here about who the players are and what their role is. There is no Board of Water Commissioners. We have a Water District Advisory Committee.
I'm gonna ask that we not do this right.
This is not part of the interview,
Okay.
please.
I don't want to do this right now. And we've got plans to work out, you know, to have
With every-
discussions or argue, you know, whatever we're gonna have in the near future to work all, you know, relationships and how, you know, boards and other boards
Right.
relate to each other. I don't want to do this right now.
It's not appropriate
that's
now.
Yeah, we have nice plans for how we're gonna integrate the chart of organization for the whole town for all the relationships
right.
and the, yeah.
Right. Thank you.
And, yeah,
Yes, that's true.
So let's do that. Let's say that.
Well, I, for my part, am reluctant to appoint Merrill, which I think is the issue at hand, without addressing that relationship, because it has been unsatisfactory in my mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Gagnon isn't happy every month.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'm not reluctant at all, and I'm
No, me
perfectly
either.
happy to make, since you brought that up, I'm perfectly happy to move that we do appoint, or whatever the right word is,
Yeah.
Merrill.
I'll second.
So,
So, there's a motion on the floor to appoint Merrill. I'm not happy to do it without addressing the underlying,
Okay, then you
Problem.
can vote no. Yeah.
I'm not going to vote no, because I do think Merrill's best candidate for the position. But I'm not going to vote yes either.
Okay. All right.
So we can vote now.
Unless there's others who want to comment before we. And I'm not hearing any, so go ahead, Mariah.
Okay, Connors,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
Abstain.
Thank you.
Hopefully in the next month or two, we
Thank you.
can get
Work out these other
relationships worked
issues.
out.
And you all know you can come to our meeting anytime, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Just making sure.
Oh, what's next?
review and reaffirmation of policies and procedures.
Right.
I move that we approve. I move that we reaffirm the existing policies and procedures.
As listed in the motion, right? Or,
Correct.
I'll second that. And for those who haven't been aware, Leslie and I have been, going over them and making sure that the right ones are being reaffirmed. And I think we have a pretty good list now, which will be separately located in Work Drive with the corresponding location in 365, so that when somebody asks what's flag policy, it takes you to the current version.
This is on in the computer that doesn't work.
Right.
So
It's not
Well,
well
it works,
organized.
but it's moving, but
it's moving towards it.
yeah. Well,
no, the whole,
the whole, we have a repository of
from.
information,
right,
but, it includes, somewhere in there's the current policy, but then there's previous drafts, and there's drafts, and, so it's kind of like,
Cleaned it up.
which one of these is the
Well, we
real
have to-
one, sort of question. But now, thanks to Leslie, and mostly Leslie's work, they're all, the current version will identify with a little X, this is it. That's the one that should be linked to the website for those who want access to it. And it's a work in progress, but that's something that, we're hoping to accomplish, and this is a nice start.
great.
And one of the things that I forgot was that the last time we did this, when we have a list like this, it's helpful. And I could have done it, but I didn't catch it in time, but, to have the dates and the resolution number
Yeah.
of the current policy. So that if there's ever any question, If somebody gets a hold of something with a different date on it, they know it's not current. So I know we did that last year and
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on
forgot
the
about it.
original one that we postponed, but it wasn't on this one.
so,
Right. So that was one of the
right,
nice additions was to list,
right.
what the original resolution was and what the resolutions were in between that updated it, including the most.
All the last issue just had the one that we're voting on, just
Right.
the date we're voting on and not the whole list of them. We're only talking about what's on the agenda here.
Right.
Right.
What we're talking about on the agenda here is the list
We had a list.
discussed, which
So
adds.
people knew,
the date.
oh, look, they're from May 3rd, we passed it, but then
Yeah.
in July, we also, so
Yeah,
it's
it-
nice to make sure people have that information.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's all there now.
it sort of, it became an issue this last year with the issues about the quote, noise law. And so people were finding all the wrong ones. So a goal is to have when one's new, it goes into the folder of current, and then other ones that
Most
that
recent.
move over into the former list or the
Yeah.
The archiving.
Yeah.
archives, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
archives.
The
So they're
history-
accessible, but
history,
they're, and they have history, yeah, historian.
So any further discussion that we could?
What you're suggesting is super doable, so.
Yeah,
Yep,
Totally. Yep,
okay, Mariah.
thank you.
Just one
Okay,
question.
Connors?
Wait a minute, wait a minute. Pause the
So
question.
this is a computer thing, right? And it's, the
Yeah.
idea is that when you do a search,
Organization.
you have to call for the current.
No, I mean, if we work this right, when you search flag policy or email policy, or
Immediately
whatever,
goes to
it will
the-
take you to the most recent
right,
and
right,
current
right,
version
right.
of it.
That,
yeah.
You sure that's okay?
But that's not part of this motion.
No,
and I'm gonna do the search.
Not now.
Know that I'm going in the right place.
yeah,
Yeah, not yet. That's what we're working
we're
on.
working on
Don't
that.
try that when you go home tonight.
You have
Hey,
the same,
Connors? So we're reaffirming the current policies and procedures. Connors, what did you say?
Yes.
Hanson?
yeah,
Yes.
Hunter?
Yes,
Woodworth?
Yes,
Gagnon?
yeah.
Thank you.
Beautification grant. We can only do one application.
But why, I mean, I don't understand why we couldn't have one application with a couple different things on it that are, did she really just say no?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
what?
I mean,
Who's she?
the god of the,
The god of the
of the beautification.
giving out the money.
Are you coming over here?
Yeah, there's a mic.
Yeah, there's a mic.
Available microphone.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so, Janine Williams, I believe her name is at Cooperative Extension, and, yeah, just, I had asked her about, multiple projects and then, if a project was on private property, that's really not allowed, but there's a number of signs community signs on private property. So, and she said, they would do a waiver for that, but
So if we were to go after the grant or welcome one of the refurbishing or painting or planting near a sign, it could only be one sign.
well, we thought there could be a creative, if
We could do a sign.
sign beautification and then maybe try to include multiple signs in that and just really, it's a little bit of a stretch probably from what they want, but I think that what I gathered was just, they don't want to see, a park bench here and then a mile away, there's a landscaping project somewhere else. They want it to just be for one project. So that's just,
And one project can't be beautification, it's gotta be.
right, you'd think it would be the town of Danby 2024 town beautification, and,
Yeah.
here's our projects, and the funds are,
It makes perfect sense to say signs. The
Okay.
Danby signs want to be,
Signs and
that
Yeah.
signs need to be
right,
flower boxes.
reversed.
right.
They could include the
But
boxes.
is this a matching grant, by the way? It's like $2,500 from them and
Yeah.
$2,500 in.
It's matching, but you can match it with volunteer hours.
Right.
So it doesn't all, it's not all out of pocket, or, you know, out of budget money. Some of it might end up being depending on the cost. For instance, you know, the rehab of the West Danby community sign. I did a rough cost, and you'd be looking at, about $650.
So are you talking about which sign are you talking about?
The West Danby community message board.
Where's that?
The corner, it's at, you never seen it?
Is it by the church?
No, it's
next
at
to the
the,
railroad
it's at the, yeah, it's down by the
Railroad?
intersection of Brown Road and 3496. And it was located there because that catches everybody coming into West Danby, it's before people turn onto Brown Road or stay on the main road. So anybody in West Danby would see that sign on their way to and from Ithaca. And in fact, it's got capability messages on both sides, so you can see it going out.
Who maintains that?
Neat.
What does it say right now?
Doesn't say anything right now.
It doesn't say anything?
It doesn't have anything on it. Steve?
I know it's our sign to communicate with West Danby, but is the people providing the money gonna have a problem? The sign is physically located in Newfield?
Well, when we first, it's in the town of Newfield.
Yeah.
And when we first, were going to cite it, we had to get permission of the town of Newfield
Right.
to put it there, and we did. And it was granted permission as an official town of Danby sign. And that's why they allowed it, because otherwise it would have been out of compliance with they have a sign regulation in Newfield. So it was allowed under those special conditions. And Bill Packer, who owns the property, allowed us to put it there. And the highway department created a peninsula to put it on because it was kind of down from the highway. And I built it. So it was a community association project to create a message board for West Danby, similar to the one that existed over here, that was maintained by the community council.
I'm just not talking about.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
No, it's well, right now it's just that one down in West Danby and so the welcoming sign over on Miller and 96 is on another private property. And Olivia Venn, goes and maintains that every year. So she had brought that up. The property owner hasn't, the one thing that we're waiting on, but it didn't happen before tonight, was just his written authorization. He sent a text to Olivia saying, yes, I authorize you to maintain it. I sent that to the grant administrators. He said, no, that really doesn't work. If it could be, to you, I think that's, so, we haven't received his approval to me specifically yet. So right now, I think the grants or the projects are the West Danby sign or your proposal.
The town hall, ground sign.
Right.
The project,
The what?
which involved let's say proposed, painting the gazebo, and there's a couple of planters out here have been neglected for quite a while. And doing something with those, and they're close enough to the road that they would show.
Who's gonna maintain the gardens?
Those little
Well, there's
boxes,
an
I mean,
issue.
There are some people who are, we haven't had a beautification committee in a while, and there is some interest.
Cool.
A couple people have
Right,
expressed an interest.
Joe's the only one, right? You're the only one.
Well, I've been
No, she's out here.
I've been maintaining the planning in West Danby, and I've done,
Clean.
over here, yeah, I did some stuffing up with
Yeah,
Catherine's help
pizza
last year.
parties and stuff,
And I plant the flowers in between stuff too, but it would be better if we had a committee.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of people who have expressed interest.
Yeah.
I have a question on the signs real quick, if I might. You say the signs are they a deeded right away from when we're putting up signage on other people's property? Do they give you a deeded right of way for that sign, or do they just give you like permission as right of word of mouth permission? How is this written up that the town gets the signage put on their property?
And there's a historical thing too.
Yeah, we got permission. I don't know what the heck happened to it, 'cause it's been a while now.
Gotcha.
It was
I-
probably, I lose track when I put that sign up. It might be 20 years by now.
Well,
We-
there's also a painted sign, the Welcome to West
Welcome
Danby
to-
sign. Whose property is that on?
The Welcome West Danby sign?
Yeah,
Those are on, well, one of them's on the land trust property, the one
Right.
across from the north. We got land trust permission to put it there.
right.
And the other one's on now Ann Michelle's property.
I mean,
And we got their permission to put that one there.
and.
I'm worried. Oh, I'm
And-
sorry. I'm worried about a lot of the stuff that we do that's word of mouth. I worry, we run into this at the highway all the time. It's we have a plow turnaround for a road that's done by word of mouth, and we don't actually have a deeded right of way on the property. And at some point, we should probably start obtaining these rights away. A property owner could technically shut us down maybe perhaps and say, you can't use the turnaround anymore. I don't know if this could happen or not, but these are things that we're running into that, when it's done on a handshake, if you will. These are things that we're running into. Hopefully it doesn't have a negative impact on it later on down the road. But
Well, I
can
mean,
see-
at some point, the West Danby sign, Bill's gonna pass away, and, if his successors don't want it to, then we'll have to come out, but, or,
Yeah.
do an agreement, because the agreement was between, him and us.
Yeah,
Same thing with the community, welcome to West Danby signs,
Yeah.
it was,
Same thing up here.
or the land trust, well, yeah, same thing here, we got
Yeah.
permission to put the, welcome to Danby signs on property. Anyway, they all went in with permissions.
yeah.
Um,
Or what
And
are
I
we gonna do?
well, that's the question. We could pick one or the other. This is I built that sign and I've been maintaining it, but I've been trying for 3 years to find the time to refurbish it because it needs, I got it, it's functional. At one point, the roof was leaking and it was dysfunctional because water getting in and
Yeah.
the letters would bind up and stuff, but I fixed that. I replaced the roof. But, there's some rot, just decay on the top rail. And the bottom rail got a little bit of decay too, so, and it needs paint. So, it's not a huge project, but it's significant and it's more time than I can afford to volunteer anymore, so it would make a nice,
When was the last time it had anything on it?
you mean message?
Yeah,
Trying to think.
I mean, have we not used it in a while?
Well, I mean, it was actively maintained and had messages regularly until COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then everything shut down and there weren't any messages for the longest time. There hasn't been a whole lot going on in West Danby to put on. I think it might have been the annual meeting of the Cemetery Association was on there.
So,
If we have if we did an Easter egg hunt, we'd put it on there. If
so we,
the community
let me
just
just,
has
I mean, we don't
supper.
need all this.
Yeah,
So we've got like, what, half a dozen signs? We have a list?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And do we,
Counting that.
if we refurbish these signs, are we gonna be able to use all the grant money? Because we're matching it, correct?
well, the thing is that we're not able to do, well, even if you did it on all the signs.
Well, why not plan for next year to do a big sign program and we work with property owners and maybe to Keith's point, it's a good point that
Right.
maybe trying to formalize some right of way or easement language even too before then. I mean, and then have a sign program beautification in Danby.
So
It seems cleanest to have this project be on town-owned land. I mean,
That's the easiest for sure.
the easiest is just to do it on town-owned land, which is what they want. And, they said they'd be willing to entertain a waiver for private property. They're not excited about that. So I think it'd be more of a slam dunk if it was, obviously on town-owned.
And if we're talking about 5 different private properties, that makes it even more complicated. So it makes more sense to do that next year and this year, do something here at the town hall.
So Leslie, you were talking about the gazebo.
Yeah.
How much money was that gonna cost?
She did work up an estimate.
$900? It's again, it's only part, it's a single project, but it's not enough.
No,
Well, it's the way it goes.
No, her proposal had more than that.
I mean, maybe 250 for the paint.
Yeah.
Um,
So now we're back to one project, and we're gonna do the ramp. So there are things we can do that would be beautifying the ramp, that we could
Yeah, but not-
certainly spend all the money.
Well, sure, but I don't know that we could do it this year. Because, we don't have a plan yet for the ramp, and we have to execute it this year.
Well, instead of just being all concrete.
The
you
entry.
could do bluestone on the landing, you can do bluestone on the steps.
But we can look at that in terms of, ARPA money, and it makes a lot more sense to do it for that all at once, everything, the whole ramp plus the beautification.
all-
I'd much rather use it for the gazebo, and if there's something with flowers that we can add to it as part of this process, then it's one project. Then it fits together, we can add more to make it, especially
we
if you do the
could-
flowers
So
and
that
stuff.
it would work with the gazebo and the gardens then? You can roll that all to,
Yeah, I mean, if it's a town property and again, the grant's up to 2,500, so if this is less than 1,000, I mean, maybe it's worth in the next, the grant's due March 1st, just by the way. And I could probably it's a very simple application, thankfully, so I could probably put it together.
Yeah.
Not, it could be like the week that it's due. I could probably carve out time to do that. So what I'm getting at is that if there are other things on this town property that people can think of that would get to that 2,500, why not apply for the most
most
amount
money,
of money?
because it's matching, it's gotta be 2,500 plus our
Right.
2,500.
Yeah.
So instead
Well,
of 5,000.
No.
No.
Remember, the matching can be labor,
could be like-
which is not dollar value.
Mulch, it could be,
Yeah, right, if it donated materials and also volunteer time count toward the match.
It just can't be employee
can't be.
salaried, but it can be contractor, if you hire a contractor to do
Yeah.
it, like summer helper or
For
something.
some part of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So I
didn't
can,
see that.
it could be contract.
so my labor is worth a certain
I
amount.
don't know.
If you volunteer, Paul,
As a volunteer, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
counted, it's like
Yeah.
$13.
I'm not.
No, it's like 31 an hour.
right,
Volunteer time, they have 31, sorry.
You're saying the same thing?
they give it like volunteer time value that, was it 30?
Oh,
31.
31,
Somebody, but in kind, that was like 14.
I should pull it up, it'd be easier to have it right in front of me, but,
I
Anyway,
was surprised to find it, that in the application, it lists the volunteer time at $31 an hour.
yeah, which is good,
Yeah, it is good,
because then that helps the match.
right.
so
I'm pretty sure that when the gazebo was last painted, Scott just flat out volunteered, and I don't know, I guess the town paid for the paint, but that's it, but he just flat out volunteered it and
Right.
did it,
Right,
so.
Yep.
Um,
So we
so,
need 2,500 in materials.
No.
Correct.
Well, I mean, it was, let's see, one.
If you're gonna get volunteers for all of the work,
3, 4. But yeah, I mean, we have some more money that we could spend, I mean, we could figure out, I mean, the other thing that when we were walking around was that the whole, that back part of the parking lot is just, I don't know who did it, but, it began to be, I was thinking bush, little bushes all the way across the
backside of the
quince or something, something pretty,
the snow would be plowed into it. You're talking about out there?
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
Well-
the snow will be plowed right into it, and that salt and whatever all else is on it,
Well,
so
could
to kill
leave
it.
the railroad ties or whatever they are
Yeah, so we can still back into them. I mean,
there. Yeah,
it's a bad design right now.
but
Yeah.
I'd rather back into bushes than concrete.
I know, me too,
boulders
and that's big boulders that we hit, you can't see them, we don't all have backup cameras. I just think that we're spending a lot of time on this, and we
Yeah.
have a little beautification committee, but, Greg needs this information like,
I can, yeah, I mean, by, it, yeah, I think, let's see what, I just want to look at my calendar of,
Can
I
we
mean,
just say that we want to apply for it?
we have to
And
decide what
doing
we're
it for the town hall, including the gazebo and some landscaping around the town hall. And Leslie and you can work on the details. Thank you.
I mean, I would say by the end of the week, it'd be nice to have, here's the full punch list of what we want, and here's the in-kind or what we can match, so that next week I can apply.
I'm reluctant to invest much in the plantings out here, because we might, before the end of the year, be carrying it out to, as part of the, redo of.
Right, me too.
Might,
Might not, but I mean, you know, why, it's.
right, I think.
Then I would say we do that excluding this area here,
Yeah,
that we
that's
work
what
on the rest, and that's what she was looking at anyhow. She never mentioned
But
that
we
area.
could do something on the other end,
And that's up to Leslie and Greg.
Okay.
Well,
Or something?
Yeah, just a little splash pad out here, yeah.
Mudslide?
I'd like to be party to it too.
Yeah, I mean, I think ideally, the town board is all on a board of, here's what we're going to apply for right now, but if there's trust in a small committee of.
I think that,
volunteers.
yeah, and in the future, the next year thing, the whole idea about the assigned committee or whatever, I think that policy should include what things get put on the signs too, and, how long they stay there, and so that we don't have,
Message board,
yeah, it should be, yeah,
I didn't even know we had one.
So when you do the trees or the bushes, a little curve, that'll stop the tires short,
right,
right? To make sure the curve is further in, okay?
right.
So then you take care of that.
That mean, is the highway department allowed to do that? But is the highway department allowed to put those bumps at the end of the, I don't know, I mean,
That's what I was wondering about.
yeah.
How much they cost.
You mean
Okay, I'll find out.
like the.
No, well, maybe those removable.
Or the,
There's a couple
what do they
spots
call
that
them?
don't.
Curb
Yeah.
things.
Curb stops, I don't know what they're called.
I think they are called curb.
There's
stops.
Keith, he came back on,
They're like bumpers.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can get rubber ones, or you can get.
Concrete.
What did I miss? I heard highway.
What you missed is how complicated we're gonna make plowing is to drive the parking lot for you.
Find out.
Oh, okay. You're talking about moving the railroad ties.
Right.
Right, because we're talking about the backside of the parking lot with the railroad ties and boulders.
Yeah.
Maybe doing something else,
Okay. We'll figure it out.
like curbs or something with curbs and bushes.
Well, we can talk about that in the future. We can probably.
Sounds like you ought to talk to.
We may come to highway and steal some stuff.
Yeah.
So dark.
Since they plow it,
Okay.
you might want to talk to
Do
Keith
we need to
about.
authorize the beautification?
Yeah, well, that was the whole point of this, was deciding what we're gonna, which project we're gonna.
I move that we place a beautification grant, we apply for a beautification grant that is created by Greg with input from Leslie.
I second it.
Oh, goody.
And I would like to add in Paul and Joel and Keith.
We'll never get anywhere.
Yeah, just let it go for the last 2 weeks and then we
I'll
talked
run it
about
by
the
you.
concept.
I'll run it by you, and, I mean, if you have any
you'll
ideas,
see
send
it.
them to me.
Yeah,
But I think we should avoid up against the
Yeah.
building.
I think so too. Okay,
No more disintegrating benches.
yeah. All right.
Okay, excellent.
Ready?
Connors,
Aye.
Hanson,
Yes,
Hunter,
Yes,
Woodworth,
Yes,
Gagnon.
Yes.
Excellent.
All right. Possible adoption of local law regarding senior and disabled.
I move we adopt the local law as written for seniors and disabled.
it's a tax thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Second.
Yeah.
Any discussion about it?
What local law would this be?
Question from Ryan. You know,
What number?
is this the first one probably the first one for this year, isn't it?
Oh, it is the first one, yes. First one of the
Is it?
year.
Law number one.
Okay.
So, Pat moved, we passed local law number 1 of 2024, which is on the senior disabled tax exemption.
And I seconded it.
No, I did already.
Oh, no, you did it? You got it. It's yours.
Yes, I have Gagnon as seconding it. Woodworth moved.
You need any more discussion? Okay, I guess we're ready.
Yes, Connors,
Aye.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Woodworth,
Yes.
Gagnon.
Yes.
Excellent.
We had to get this passed by March 1st in order for it to apply to 2025.
We just passed it.
Yep. Mass gathering permitting legislation. Oh, what's the question of, it's for Greg, where are we?
So I printed out,
Yeah,
printed out some things for you all, and I sent this to you all last week. So this is just an overview. I did a little bit of research on a few special event laws in New York. So what I did is, rather than just draft a law immediately, why not just take a step back and look at all the things that are typically involved in these laws. So I think the plan for tonight is maybe just review this document. And if there's, there are certain points in these laws where there's numbers, fees for a permit, number of people, number of vehicles. There are, different numbers that will have to be decided upon. Or, if that's the way that the town is going. But I guess let's just start from the top.
if everybody's agreeable with that approach, because I am.
Sure.
And it was
Yeah.
different than what,
Typically it's 5 minutes.
yeah, right, okay, good.
Right. So, what is a special event? Well, it can be defined in, by one or more of really the following criteria. So the number of people per day or collectively, the number of vehicles per day or collectively, the location of where this event will be, whether it's just on private land. Does it also include, it could also include public land? Is it just in certain zone districts? Like in Ulysses, for example, it exempts certain zone districts from special permitting. Duration, so hours per day or days per week. Is it 4 days per week, 5 days? Is it 4 hours a day? Is it for 8 hours a day? Is it
Times of the day.
right? Yeah. So exactly. So one I saw was for from you needed a permit if you were going to hold an event between 3 and 11 p.m. or something. And then outside of those hours, it wasn't allowed. Is it indoors or is it outdoors or is it both? Are we talking about special events that are just outdoors? Or should it include indoors? And then a fee for admission, that's usually pretty standard. That's kind of the trigger to a special event is that there's some financial transaction. Some even had donations on there, that if there was a suggested donation, that would be considered a special event. But there are some laws that don't even talk about donations. They're just,
If there's any, well, they probably would say whether donations are included in the consideration.
It sounds like we get to decide that.
Yeah, we do.
yeah. It's just, I think just looking at the whole gamut. So I just pulled a couple of examples here for this first one. So this town had defined it as any social occasion, performance, gathering, exhibition, or activity, which meets all of the following. So it occurs on public or private property, has more than 100 people in attendance. It's conducted indoors or outdoors. So this town had both, and it's not currently a permitted use of right on the property. or which requires a parking area to accommodate all vehicles transporting attendees to the event that is larger than the existing parking capacity of the site. Basically saying, if you have a property,
Overflow parking.
if you have a property that can accommodate 100 vehicles and you fill the, you won't be considered a special event. That if you can,
Isn't this by omission, not by addition, meaning that you can still be a special event if you meet any of the criteria?
well, this one was meeting all the following.
This
So,
one said all.
so Danby could do, yeah, so Danby could have, if you just meet one of the following, yeah, that's why I said at the top, it's typically defined by one or more of the following criteria. So, I mean, a law could be, it's any event where there's 100 people and there's a fee for entry, and that can be that.
It could be useful to include if there's vendors for selling food, et cetera, as well. That doesn't appear to be here.
Right, so that, right, in one of the examples that was included as a, it wasn't like a, if it only includes this, but if it includes all of this, and that was listed, if there's food or, you know, beverages being sold. So another, I guess any just questions so far?
You have, the location, like there are some places in the town where you could, there were some places that you couldn't, or that
Could do
that's
that.
allowed.
Yeah, so,
Where would they be, where would it, do you have an example of where it would be allowed?
Church.
Without the church,
you mean without needing a permit?
right,
Sure.
like
Every
their ice
Sunday.
cream, yeah, Wednesdays, yeah.
Yeah.
ice cream.
What did you say,
Sundays.
Leslie?
Sundays on Wednesdays, yeah.
What?
Sundays on Wednesdays.
Right,
Yeah, good question. I wasn't
it's just.
prepared to
what I'm
answer.
trying to think
Yeah.
about. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, so let's, I think,
I mean, another one is the
The market or,
the hall on the right-hand side going down for the veterans. The bar.
VFW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The VFW.
The seniors have their events there when,
Right.
outside.
but that's a business.
It's,
Not
You're talking about when they have
exactly.
their craft fair or something, I mean, they have,
It's not exactly a business.
Well, it does have a bar,
well,
but,
it's a bar and they sell,
and it's
they
open.
have really good chicken barbecue and they have meat, I don't know, that, yeah. And,
some of the stuff in the approvals for the specific
I-
VFW would be
right.
specific, should be.
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, in the
another
back of my
example,
mind, I'm saying there's some things I
Yeah.
hope that we just say, okay, let's not catch this
yeah, right.
in this, and
Well, like-
that's one of them.
Danby Fun Day, which we're not
Yeah,
calling it that anymore,
church,
but you know, that kind of thing, or
so
church
make
event.
sure we don't.
And you also don't want to catch things like, you know, weddings or
Right,
graduation parties or.
right.
'Cause it's-
Well, I mean, if
one-off,
there's
mhm.
250 people coming to a wedding, you know, I mean, if it's not. too-
that kind of thing happened, and then the parking all along the whole road, which was,
Yeah.
questionable. But there's things like the Pirates Club and places, I don't know what the situation is, but I kind of like you to run through the whole thing
Okay,
before we start tearing parts
Oh,
apart, because
yeah.
I think
Well,
we're
yeah,
losing the,
Sure, there's nothing to tear apart.
yeah, but I think it's easier if we get a big, if we can get a,
yeah,
I'd rather get a big picture
Good
at
idea.
first. personally.
sure,
Yeah.
sure, yeah, we can do that. And I will, on weddings, I will say most, well, at least all the laws I looked at, all exempted out weddings. It's all about just, is there a fee for entry?
Mhm.
I think was the biggest catch-all for all these special
Commercial
events,
event.
right? So then the next example down was just any event or gathering which will result in traffic generation of more than 50 vehicles. Oh, so this is Ulysses currently right now, but they are probably amending it. So it was, yeah, it'll result in traffic generation of more than 50 vehicles and be more than 8 hours in duration and or involve overnight camping on property which is not an approved overnight camping facility.
Mhm.
So in that case, in Ulysses, they don't even look at the number of people. They're just looking at the number of traffic,
Mhm.
but somebody could conceivably bus people in and then not meet this.
Right.
So, thoughts.
Mhm.
But I know that Ulysses is taking a look at that. So,
Did they share with you what the problems they're having with?
no, they've been silent on that.
Is there anything specific about, places for, restrooms?
I was gonna say outhouse.
Right,
That
so,
appears to me that is a requirement. Does the county have any requirements? for
oh,
that?
yeah, so let's move on down the list and then we'll kind of breeze down. So let's just go over exemptions. So these are just a few exemptions. Events or activities, yada, yada, where the property owner receives no remuneration. So, again, you're not charged a fee. Any event held on property owned by a not-for-profit organization for its own fundraising that is contained on site and has adequate parking, ingress, egress, traffic control, and sanitary facilities to host such an event. Fundraising. And then lastly, an event held on commercial property with available parking for such an event. So you can add in, it's really moldable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Permit, so a typical permit application requirements, there's a permit fee. That's one of those numbers that just think about that you can just set it $25, be $1,000, probably not that much, but, insurance is pretty typical, liability insurance, and then workers' compensation for like the contractors on site, if there are any, right? Approvals from county health departments for overnight camping, food service, and sanitation. And then a parking and event plan is pretty typical. And I just ripped one that was pretty long and detailed, and I thought it was good. But I mean, I'll just kind of breeze through it. But essentially, showing a site plan. If you've seen planning board, the site plans showing where are stages, where are tents, where are sanitation areas, where are vendors and employees of organizing the event, all the exits, fire extinguishers and other fire safety equipment, temporary utilities, parking area, traffic control plan for vehicles entering and leaving. I just thought of something that I could add down here. Some ask for an incident plan. What happens if there is an emergency? What do you do for that? That sort of is one I saw for a town in Long Island. A plan for the use of live outdoor music, so loudspeakers, the type and location of speakers and other audio equipment. A description of the other amplified sound expected to occur from the property. With the anticipated decibel levels. A description of emergency access and facilities related to the event, provision to dispose of any garbage, trash, rubbish, location and description of any additional lighting, and sanitary facilities on site. So again, this is a menu where some communities have just a few things. I mean, I think Ulysses' original law just said, oh, just show us a plan of what you're doing. But then some communities really have a bulleted list. Say, we want really itemized list. Let's see. Notification to neighbors. This actually wasn't that typical, but there was one law that required notification 500 feet, 1,000 feet to neighbors. I saw that in one law.
I
So-
think,
That's interesting.
yeah, that we should put that.
So then application review procedure. So this is just outlining the criteria for review of the permit and grounds for denial. I'll just sort of, again, breeze through these two. So the size and capacity of the site to accommodate the event, the facilities available, the availability of highways and other means of transportation to and from the site, the impact of the event on the safe and orderly movement of traffic within and contiguous to the event, the impact of the event on fire and ambulance service to the areas contiguous to the event and to the town in general, the impact of the event on the movement of firefighting equipment or ambulance service to the town or areas contiguous to the event, the impacts, and as you can see, I mean, some of these basically mean that if we were to receive a special event permit application, I or the applicant would have to go to the fire department, maybe the highway, work with the highway superintendent. And I'll also note too that Steve did provide, code enforcement officer did provide just general fire prevention code stipulations for special events. So we can talk about that too, what they would have to provide for him. Moving on down the list, so the impacts on adjacent property owners and the surrounding neighborhood and neighborhood character. Whether the owner or applicant has violated a previously issued special event permit. I think that's
a good one.
Right. Verification that there are no outstanding violations on the property at which the event will be held or outstanding or unsatisfied conditions of a town agency approval. Verification that the grant of the permit will not violate any existing covenants or easements on the property. You can tell why I picked this one because it was the most long and detailed. You could just pick and choose which one you might want. No. This was from, I think I want to say Southampton, New York. Yeah. The Hamptons, yeah. Whether the frequency or of prior or proposed special events on the site constitute a change or intensification of the permitted use of the property. That's actually an interesting one. So some places said you can only have these special events maybe up to 4 times a year on your property, or they stipulate the amount of times per year. And then any other matters related to health and safety and welfare. Right.
So did are they typically the code officer who would make the determination, or how often do they, is it a board or committee that would do it? Like a planning board review?
These ones were all, the ones that I saw were all either code enforcement officer or zoning officer.
I think in conjunction, at least, these two guys.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Right.
So right.
So it doesn't typically go to a board for site plan review thing.
So the code enforcement officer would verify compliance with the New York State Fire Prevention Code, enforce at the time of the application, specifically to the sections of the chapter related to tents, temporary special event structures, and other membrane structures and outdoor assembly events. The required inspection would take place after the event setup has been established, but prior to the beginning of the event so that fire safety aspects of the event can be inspected. This inspection would include compliance for any vendors, food, or otherwise for proper cooking setups, separation distance from combustibles, placement of fire extinguishers, paths of egress of event expense.
Wow. So the other thing is that because this thing is like short term, the turnover has to be really quick about doing correct. And the ability to actually shut something down as they're being set up because they're not in compliance with the onerous.
Required an accurate inspection during the event.
Well, and during the event, set up and during. So crazy, right? So
we get free admission.
And the problem with these kind of events is they sell tickets well in advance. The tickets went on sale for grassroots last Wednesday. So if tickets are sold in advance, but if you're inspecting at the very right after it's set up, just before it starts, even if it's before it starts,
right,
they've already sold tickets.
right, so there has to be applied for at least 6 months to 8 months.
For massive,
So on that, in Ulysses right now, in Ulysses right now, even though they're selling the tickets, and it's camping tickets, they're selling the actual tickets to the event, camping tickets, the application has to be approved 5 days before the event. Right, so typically, so besides Ulysses, and I think they're gonna amend that, but the other ones that I saw were anywhere from 14 days to 62 days. but this also allows for, well, I should say there's two separate points of time. One is, when do you need to submit the application for review and then potential denial? And then if there's an appeal for the denial, which there might be a path for, such as going to the Board of Zoning Appeals and getting on their calendar, when do you need to apply for it? And then when do you need to have the application approved by? So those are two separate timeframes that the board can choose from.
And when they can start selling tickets. They can't start selling tickets until they get an approval.
But I feel, but that might
That
be.
may not be so.
That might just be a
They can
private,
have to
that might be
refund.
like to buy like their own risk. I don't know if the town could say you can't sell
I don't
tickets.
think we can control that.
Yeah,
It
it's
means
just
that,
their own risk.
yeah,
They're a risk.
both. I do have another question that might be related, and that is, if somebody does all this, well, there's two things. One, it behooves them to pay attention to the rules before they do it, knowing that they could be denied if they're not complying. But my other question is, if a town sets up all of these parameters and grants a permit, is there any way that the town can be held liable for anything that happens because they said, yes, we approve of this event?
The town would be a party on the liability insurance.
On their liability?
Or they have to name,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Additional insured.
additional insured for, yeah, and typically the amount was $1 million.
Okay.
Mhm,
Really?
mhm, yeah.
So private houses, anything that happens on private property, if the town isn't liable for anything like that.
If the
Town's
approves
liable
a
for
permit
permission.
for it, the town has
Just
some.
because the town approves a building permit, doesn't,
But it's just it's a requirement, at least for some of these towns that had it.
It's built into it.
It's just built into the law that if you want to
Into
hold,
this
if you want to hold an event that.
they are
They're-
going to have
right.
insurance policy.
Yes, they hold the insurance policy, but
Yeah,
they
not
name
us.
the town as an additional insured.
Yeah, they have the policy that insures us against the, liability that might be implied by having said it's okay.
Right, that was my question. And for instance, for the events like the Harvest Festival, and that gets their riders, they add to their insurance for events. That's what, yeah.
Mhm. So, I think an obvious first thing is, what kind of events does it apply? And I think most of them apply only to commercial.
That's what he said at the beginning.
They have to have pay for admission.
For admission.
That's what he said in number one. What is a special event? Typically, it was a fee for admission or suggested donation, and I would include suggested donation is,
Right.
that's a trick. Make it
Yeah.
sound like it's not a fee and that's fake.
Right, exactly.
But I think also should be included there when fee is for admission. If they're charging for food or drink, that should be part of that fee for admission should be included there as special event.
We mean defining.
Yes.
Well, that's a health department thing to set up a kitchen, right?
No. If it's free, but they charge for food, then they ought to have to apply for a special permit.
I think Pat's getting at where are the loopholes for people to sneak this kind of event in on us?
Yeah, and that's
Well,
what
yeah,
I
but-
want to say. If they're selling food and beverages, that makes it a special event.
Okay, here's.
Well, wait a
I have
minute though, because I can see where that might catch something that you don't want to catch.
I think all of these little pieces are really fun, interesting. I mean, we could go all night long on this. But this is what I would suggest, is that Greg sends out that Ulysses law.
Well, the Ulysses law he's already said that they don't like that law, so I don't think we want to use that
So
as a model.
Pick one that you like. And then each of us
That's
can
why
look
he
at
has
it
all of this.
and annotate it with our questions.
That's what this is, I think.
That's what this is. We can annotate this,
Right.
what we want
Oh,
and
we
not want.
annotate this?
Yes.
Well, this is to get us thinking about what we
Right.
want, what we don't want. I mean,
Right.
and it's just a lot of,
Except
Yeah.
it has no structure.
well,
If-
we would have.
if-
Well, that's
If
okay.
you-
Put the
if-
structure in later.
If it would help, I mean, I did draft a law.
There you go.
Using, but it's just as a, let's talk about this first. There are, as I said, I think some of the stuff about parking event plan, I mean, you could have comments on about, we want to see more of that or less of that, but
Yeah.
I think that the numbers are really what matters. Is it 100 people? Is it threshold 50 people? Is it generation of 20 cars? Is it 100 cars? Is it, what's the application period? That's what I'm kind of looking forward to is some of the numerical parameters of this. And
I mean, the parameters don't say if you meet this number, you can't have it. It just means you have to get a permit.
right.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
The criteria are, what would require a
Right,
permit.
right.
So
And
I'm just saying, for me, I would love to see that law that you wrote up. I have a copy of it, and then I can use this as a, like a point of reference to ask some of the questions. And then, make my comments. Because right now, I feel like I'm shooting in the dark a little bit.
there's an awful lot of variables.
It feels pretty unstructured to me.
I am very, very gun shy about passing around draft ideas on something that's so controversial. So we have to be really, the like huge word draft, not planned, not voted on, whatever.
All right.
Yeah, but it's only us.
Well.
If it's us, it's public.
Until it comes to a meeting.
It's public right now.
Anything that comes to
Yep.
the meeting is public.
Right.
Anything
Maybe they
distributed
can
to
ask
us
for
is
it.
public.
yeah.
Well, then they
Well,
only
people should-
can.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm asking for it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
in order to do, a draft, which you've got, you had to have made some judgments about some of these things.
well, I pretty much took Ulysses and another one or two of the other towns and just put them all together and. Right, and it was just a starting point to just see what does this look like and thinking of all the extreme situations.
Yeah.
So, the point of taking it, so I first drafted the law and then I said, well, let's just take a full step back and look at all the parameters that really go into a law so that I can get some direction, or at least the town board, not even me getting direction, but it's the town board coming to conclusion of, do we want to regulate it by the number of people? Is it all and the number of cars? Thinking about location, is it everywhere in the town, which would probably just be, easiest to say, do you want to exempt out certain zone districts or certain properties, which gets, there's just different trade-offs for doing that. Duration, hours a day or number of days per week. I mean, there's just certain parameters that just need, I think, some consensus on. I can certainly, I mean, this draft law that I just whipped up from just ripping a bunch of different laws together and putting them in. You can start there and then you can, increase or lower
Yeah,
from there, but.
With what you've given us, with all the other stuff, as Paul said, you can use that sort of a lens through which to view what you put together and then say, well, okay, this is missing, or, more of this and less of that, it gives us something to bounce off of. Otherwise, it's a really overwhelming thing to try to come up with.
And what's gonna happen is that we're all gonna have a different opinion. And so, and it goes back to you to be the funnel that tries to pull that back together again.
Right.
So
And was hours of operation was one issue too, right? That I don't remember seeing it on here, but.
Yeah, just hours of the day, yes, so in the,
duration.
yeah, just
Not-
duration.
Duration is not the point. Duration, it could be 8 hours, but if the 8 hour goes from 10 o'clock to 4 in the morning, that's different than 8 hours from 10 to 4 in the afternoon.
That's a good point. So maybe,
Duration is not a.
maybe special events are, they're only, authorized till
Good till
midnight
11 PM
or something.
Yeah,
Right.
because in this last case, there were online, they were bands scheduled at 2 o'clock in the morning
Yeah,
Right.
in advance.
yeah.
Well, part is just staying home.
Yeah, that's why you say 9 o'clock, it's gonna go to 11.
Not if they're not allowed to and it's enforced. We
Well,
need to
you
enforce
have
it.
You have a optimistic viewpoint that, you know, because if they go beyond the time, someone's gonna make a call.
Yes.
The police are called, they come out, they have to then say you have to be closing down. Then someone, you know, they have to make the decision to make the move to pull the plugs on it. Then you gotta move all those people out of there, which means,
And then they won't get anything the next year because, that's what it says.
correct? Yeah, that's it.
At worst, we get them, if that's, they're done, man, that's it.
Glad I don't live in her neighborhood.
Well, you know, there is, I mean, another thing that could happen that wouldn't, I'm not saying it's good or bad or anything, but it could be that somebody buys a property checking ahead to have a zone and actually, like where Wolf Trap, for instance, in Virginia, it's National Park for the Performing Arts. It is a place. There are places that's what their purpose is. It is an event place, like the place on, whatever it is on that 79, whatever the name of that place is.
Celebration.
Yeah, Celebration.
Right, yeah.
And then there's that barn down past in Tioga County.
Mhm.
Well,
The barn.
the VFW, that's an event place. There's all sorts of events out there.
Yeah.
So
And
there
that's-
are other options too. I mean, that would be a way that people, that would come to the planning board and the, you know, whatever else, zone change or whatever, I don't know. But there are options if somebody really wanted to have an event location, then everybody might love it, but it would have to be, yeah. So,
Oh, no, we're losing Charlie.
He'll be back.
You will be sitting there. The meeting's gone too long, we're losing Charlie.
Oh, speaking of which,
No.
we're at my bladder.
You know,
happens when you have it too long.
that's right. Speaking of, as Joel just pointed out, we are at that point.
We have to extend the meeting.
Or,
Start till 10 after, but no.
So
I'm happy with this so far.
okay, and then just send you a draft,
Just, and write draft right on it,
right?
right across the top.
Okay.
So can we say that we'll just, that's what will happen? He'll share the draft and we'll,
Draft number
and we'll-
one.
Yeah.
so then what's gonna happen? He's gonna share the draft. We're
And
gonna,
I think we should be able to provide input on it as we're going around, not wait till next meeting. We can provide input and emails back and forth so we can get feedback
Right,
quickly and quickly on all of these things.
yeah, and give me a call and talk about it too. I mean, some of you do that more than others. Just give me a call, shoot me an email, just we can talk about it.
Mhm.
Great.
This,
On the agenda.
how do we collaborate between meetings without,
Email,
no, but I mean, without triggering the problem with the,
We're not collaborating, we're
Not
sending
collaborating,
things. to
sending
you.
information to him.
Sending stuff to Greg.
Send stuff to,
yeah, so
Right.
what you're supposed to do with it, if what happened, what Paul suggested, you get 5 different,
right. but
ideas
maybe
about what should
there's
happen.
Some you know, middle ground in everything that happens, that comes, as the feedback comes back to Greg. And he's gonna find out how dysfunctional we
Yeah.
really are. And
Then we have big meetings.
he's gonna send that information back to us in some way, it's a communication. So, and some of us will drop by, some of us won't. And, so it's a, you know, I don't expect this to get resolved the next board meeting. I think this is gonna take a few.
It might.
We gotta get on it, but
Yeah, so I'll send this off. I'll get comments back individually on it. I'll compile those comments and then at a future board meeting, whether it's the next one or the following one, we can just talk about the range of, you know, different board members, you know, concerns, or I can try to, you know, even adjust it, you know, draft 2, and, you know, try for that or something.
Yeah.
I do have an
We
idea.
could do that iterative thing, and if it looks like it's gelling, then it could come back, you know,
Okay.
at the next meeting or the one after that.
I do have an idea. We did it, we've done it. Can we have any kind of moratorium on not allowing until,
They're already not allowed. You know,
Okay, so-
unless we do something. they're not
Okay.
allowed.
then that's, yep,
So we don't need a moratorium. You know, we would be enabling if we passed something.
right.
Something
Well,
which is
it didn't
not
stop
currently
things
legal.
last time.
Well, because they did it despite being told that
Yeah.
you're gonna be in violation.
Yep.
Is somebody monitoring the internet for this thing? Guy, again,
Not I.
a perpetrator?
My son went to it 2 years ago. I'll have him
The
check.
same guy, the same one, not in Danby though.
Rochester. He went, he didn't go here. He went 2 years ago. When it
But
was
this guy-
in Trumansburg. Yeah, the barbecue 6. This was.
Oh, that's what,
whatever.
yeah.
What's that? My son went to it 2 years ago.
Oh, did he? Yeah, fine.
When it was in
Here? Was
Trumansburg.
not here.
It's been with up the tree.
When I told him that it was where it was here, he just snorted. He couldn't believe anyone would actually.
What did
they call it when he listens? The barbecue 6.
Yeah,
This is the
barbecue 7.
Sorry.
So you're on top of this, so let us know if it.
I will have him check.
Okay, so I think we have a plan. I move we give ourselves another till 1/4 after.
Second.
Knowing if I-
Oh, I'm sorry, who seconded it? Was that you,
Me.
Pat?
That
Pat
was
did,
it.
yeah. I think we can do it 10 minutes. Should we
We're
vote?
ready?
Although we did
Yep.
do the big,
Not it.
Pardon?
Aye.
Hanson?
Yeah, sure.
Hunter?
Yes.
Woodworth?
Yes.
Ganyan?
generating an organizational chart. We've been kind of working on this as a sort of a staff thing. I'm wondering whether we should have a focused meeting of the board to talk about it. Or because it would take permanent discussion.
If we do that, I would like Mariah to lead it,
Yeah, it'd be okay.
and if she's willing.
I mean, it's a suggestion that Laura could lead it, but when I mentioned it to her,
Sure.
she cringed.
Oh, no,
She said
I'm
she
happy
would.
to.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right, I say cool.
Yep.
Yeah. So what do you think about having a special meeting for that? Where are
We
we?
are down at
10.6.
This is 10.6.
10.6.
10.6.
Generating organizational chart?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Mariah comes to us.
No, it's, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a run, but when is we do it?
So this is a special meeting to discuss this?
Yeah.
Do you, okay.
Do we do it in a week? Next Wednesday?
How much time do you need to prepare for us, Mariah?
She's already
Do
working
you want
on
me to,
it.
I can share my screen.
No.
Not now.
Yeah, that's, yeah, okay, so yeah. Whenever.
Forgot my calendar. That was dumb.
Mariah, you have a date, that you might suggest?
Thinking Wednesday might work, but,
Can it be late?
No,
after-
Wednesday is not good for me. How about Monday?
let's see, next Monday? I think that will work.
The 26th of February?
Problem with it.
Right, but,
We all cool with Monday?
I think so. Monday, what day is that?
The 26th.
6 o'clock?
Okay.
Yeah, but,
I
Yeah,
know.
we carried that on God, so unless if you want me.
Maybe we should go there.
Yeah.
what way you done?
Yeah.
When you leave, you're not gonna be gone next week, are you? All right.
No, not yet. February 26th?
Sounds like a great day to drive away.
At 6?
26th, yeah. I would do it in the evening or during the day.
Well, I said, at 6.
Somebody wanted to do it earlier.
You want to do it early? Well, that work for Mariah?
Mariah, it's your.
I'm really here till 4, so anytime after 4.
4.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock
Four?
works.
Okay.
Maybe we could give her a break and start at 4:30.
I'm good.
4 o'clock?
Okay.
Or
So it's been, did anybody move that?
I move we have a special meeting to look at the organizational chart on Monday, 2/26 at 4 o'clock.
Second.
oh, we're ready? Connors? Hanson?
Yes.
Hunter? Woodward? Gagnon? Excellent.
Um,
The signing the contract for something other.
Right, we did it, we did an RFP, or it's not RFP, for somebody to administer the multifamily housing CBDG grant. And Toma Development, who's our administrator for the single family one, was the only outfit to propose to do it, and it looks good to Greg, it looks good to me. But I wasn't sure whether or not we had actually pre-authorized it, because we'd have to find what.
Yeah, so in the resolve from resolution 173 of 2023, Joel is hereby authorized and directed to yada, 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 file the application, execute the contract with the state, and if appropriate, take actions necessary to implement the proposed program grant upon approval from the state. So I don't know if
That sounds like a broad authorization, so we don't really need this.
So we're all done. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, good.
That was the question, but you found the answer in the meantime. Okay, so we don't need it.
Thank you.
And then
Leslie had something.
in our eyes.
Oh, it actually came up, somebody, asked me about where the natural resource inventory was. And I don't know, have you ever seen it, Greg?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
You got it? Electronic version?
Yeah, it's
I mean, maybe you could send it to,
yeah, there's,
send us each, and then,
That's
and we
something,
should have it on the website.
like I said, that's something that ought to be
Because somebody went to
accessible.
the website and looked for it and couldn't find it.
okay.
It was a CAC document.
Well, it
Oh,
was a. planned
That's who
document.
did it. It was a CAC.
Right.
So.
Was it an
You get
email
it?
request?
If you get it to me, I can put it on the website.
Okay.
Was it an email request?
It was actually,
Just because if you
it
sent me
was a
the,
text. It was-
oh, okay.
Somebody,
Because they might, because I wonder if they mean,
somebody said, where is this? We worked on this so long. Well, somebody who worked on it.
oh, okay, all right.
Where is it?
And,
Is that Ann?
You have that call, right?
Well, maybe that
no,
sounds like it's more of a,
If it's on the website, you can get it.
Well,
Something
the thing is that some of these
filed.
things are in the planner's server, probably, that's why, they never got, they predate, work drive and
Okay.
our electronic storage, which only started with.
Yeah, I wondered if it
All right,
was on
let
some
me-
computer.
it might
because
be.
It is.
CJ did it.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's on the planners.
I apologize. When are we gonna get moved back to Microsoft? How long, 6 months from now?
What do you mean, when we're gonna move to it, you mean?
Yeah, to it, yeah.
It's coming soon, yeah,
That's what
within,
All right, well,
within, I would say within 6 weeks.
I knew I have a hard copy. I just didn't have it. But the person went to the website looking for it and couldn't find it.
Yeah, Mariah's hard at work at getting this
So
set up for that transition.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was a CAC document. I think it says it right on it.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
Second page.
we're working on it. Yeah. Okay, so does that answer your question?
It is. I mean, it was the person that was asking, it was related to, hey, we did this.
Right,
all
where
this work,
is it?
And it was supposed to help guide the boards in decisions.
Well, yeah, it informed the,
So,
yeah, it informed the rezoning, but it
I
has
don't
to,
know how
but
many
it's kind
people
of,
involved had a
back
copy,
first.
but it's not.
Again, it's another problem with the website. Basically, we clearly need to,
Yeah, yeah,
make the
Yeah, we
update.
do.
to it. We already know that.
Yep.
Just another one.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Anything in particular want to bring up for next time?
No,
Okay,
nothing.
all right.
No,
Well, there were a couple of things we mentioned, but,
surplus thing.
oh, yeah, well, there were some things that got,
Getting rid of-
a couple of things that got deferred, but still come up.
Well, you
Okay,
bring it to the first meeting in March.
right, which is the next one. Next regular meeting anyway. With that, we have made it through the agenda and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with us.